Alright, so here's part 2 to this dude right here, the Anax and Cymede deck. We're going to look at all the instances, sorceries, enchantments, and little tricks that we have to make this dude work. So I'm going to go back to the Magic Online where I've got the deck built here. This is kind of like sideboard slash, I guess these Mind Sparkers and Spark Trooper need to come back up here. Mind Sparker just seems like a really good card post-rotation. At 3/2 for a striker. That whenever they cast an sorcery, insert sorcery, blue or white spell does 2 damage. It can be very aggressive. You can pair it very well with Gutter Snipe and kind of just tempo out your opponent. So I've talked a little bit about what makes this card so cool with the creatures that it can pair up with, especially like a Johnny Color Pride trigger can actually give it +2/+2 every turn, and all the rest of your creatures +1/+1. Or when it gives it flying double strike, it can give it +1/+1 flying double strike, and all the rest of your creatures +1/+1. So kind of a cool little interaction. Brave of the Elements is going to be a duck card. I think it's pretty good with any sort of white weenie deck. You could definitely go down on the white cards, up on the white. Down on the red cards, up on the white cards if you do go the Brave of the Elements strategy. Another cool card, cool little interaction is the enchantments with ethereal armor. This is what we have right now, and we know that the next block is going to be enchantment based. So we have, as far as decent enchantments you can throw on a guy, and again, he gets +1/+1 as soon as you throw it on him. He gets the +1/+1 plus whatever else the enchantment gives him. So there's Madcap Skills, so that turn he'd be attacking in for 4 extra damage, and also has to be blocked by 2 or more creatures, which could be evasion, and the rest of your creatures get +1/+1. And then you have the Blessing, which if you go heavy white isn't too bad. Unfortunately, the ability doesn't, enchanted creature gains this ability, it doesn't target it. That'd be so cool if it said enchanted creature or target creature gets +1/+1. If it was just an enchantment, that'd be sweet. Hopefully there is a card like that that gets spoiled soon. And other than that, those are the cool enchantments. We got Lightning Talons as well. That's another one. Lightning Talons +3/+0 and first strike. It already has first strike, but +3/+0 which ends up being +4/+0, attacking that turn. It doesn't seem too shabby. So I thought Molten Birth would kind of go for kind of a tokens aggro type strategy. You do have to worry about the Ratchet Bomb being a thing in the format. I like Sundering Growth as a way to destroy enchantments or artifacts. We have access. The cool thing about going red-white is you have access to all of the hate for enchantments and artifacts in Wear Tear, Sundering Growth, and Solemn Offering. So your choice there. Got some cool cards like Blind Obedience, but I think the Imposing Sovereign is a little bit better in that case. But one cool card is Armed. Armed gives him double strike +1/+1 and an additional +1/+1, so he's swinging it for 5 double strike. I don't think that's very shabby. You could definitely think about going that card as well. And then you also have one of the best interactions that I think is going to see a lot of play with Anax and Cymede, which is Boros Charm. Gives it double strike and +1/+1. Not bad. So again, swing in for 4 double striking damage, and the rest of your creatures getting +1/+1. Not too bad. Boros Charm also doubles up as protection against the opposing Supreme Verdicts or other sweepers that we might be seeing. Like maybe even Damnation might be reprinted in this set. I think that might be a thing. Marshal's Glory. I wonder how the wording on this will actually work. Sorry for the lag here. Marshal's Glory says target creature gets +0/0 and target creature gets... Yeah, so you are targeting 2 different creatures with 2 different abilities. So I do believe he'll get +3/+3, so it ends up being +5/+5, and the rest of your creatures +2/+2. I'm pretty sure. So Martial Glory plus Anax and Cymede is boss. I guess I didn't talk about the Sunhome Guild Gauge. Just another creature that could go towards your token strategy. Renounce the Guild is just a great card with Young Pyromancer. There will probably be plenty of targets, whether it be Opposite of Ghost Council, Blood, Baron Viscopa, Boros Reckoners, cards like that. Keening Apparition, again, where we have some hate for enchantments, access to it. And then I guess Pursuit of Flight's the other enchantment I think is worth talking about, other than you wouldn't give him flying. Just +2/+2 is not too shabby. Divine Favor is one more that you could bring in against the aggressive draws. Rest in Peace could always come in handy. Again, I just included these cards because they are enchantments that would work with the strategy of like a Johnny's Chosen if you're going to go for like the enchantment route. And then Legion Initiative, of course, is amazing as it is another protection against Supreme Verdict, and the Anax and Cymede actually would get +1/+1, as it is a red and a white creature. Rootbound Defenses, again, is another populate with Young Pyromancer would give you 2 dudes and all indestructible. I don't think that's a bad interaction. So again, we are going 3 different routes here. We're either going a Bloodthirst route, we are going an instant sorcery route, or going an enchantments route. And this is definitely the cards that I've been able to sort through that I think would be good in one of those 3 routes. Act of Treason, of course, is great against any Colonial Hydro decks, which I do think will be big post-rotation. It's actually very good against Blood Baron Vizkopa, as well as you can steal our Blood Baron Vizkopa and swing in for 4 lifelink, and all the other rest of your creatures can actually get in too. And he doesn't have protection against red, so Act of Treason is something you target. Another cool little interaction, I don't know if I talked about this before, Flames of the Firebrand, you could actually target your Anax and Cymede for 1 damage and 2 damage to the blockers. You could actually kill off 2 blockers, give all your creatures +1/+1, including your Anax and Cymede, and attack in there for maybe the win. Path to Bravery is another enchantment that I think is pretty good, that would go great with the Johnny's Chosen route, as you could give all your creatures get +1/+1 if you have more life than your opponent, and it would trigger off the Johnny's Chosen if you're going to go the enchantments route. It actually works with the Ethereal Armor. Burning Earth, you have access to it, so any sort of 3-colored deck is punished. And Assemble the Legion is a great anti-control card. Again, the enchantment route, you could definitely go, and not a bad choice. Another cool interaction, you get also War Leader's Helix is not a bad choice as well. Young Pyromancer, War Leader's Helix are best friends. Get a 1/1, 4 damage, 4 life. If anything stabilizes like that, I don't know another combo that is nearly as good for just 4 mana. Is Chandra another cool interaction with Chandra and the Anax and Cymede is it says deals 1 damage to target player and 1 damage up to 1 target creature that player controls. You can target yourself, target the Anax and Cymede, just another way to give all your creatures +1/+1 as well as Anax and Cymede and swing in. So this +1 can actually be used aggressively on your own dude. It's going to still be alive. It's going to be a 4/2 still, as it will get a +1/+1 counter, or a +1/+1 trigger and whatnot. And you could do the exact same thing with Aurelius Fury. It will tap it. That's the only problem. But you could actually target the Anax and Cymede and give all your dudes +1/+1, and maybe tap down the rest of your opponent's creatures. Don't know how well that would be. But as far as now the instances and sorceries that you have access to, you got Skullcrack, again a good Sphinx of Revelation hate. Mizian Mortars, good sweeper. You have a Pit Fight, which I do think is actually really good with Anax and Cymede, as you can target creature you control fights another target creature, so it becomes a 4/2 or 4/3, fight something, and gives the rest of your creatures +1/+1. Can't go wrong with that. Weapon Surge, you could target it. I mean, it does have overload, but you don't need to overload it. You can just target it. It gets +2/+1 until end of turn, and the rest of your creatures get +1/+1. Great with Young Pyromancer, of course. You got Shock and Mugging as offensive spells to get rid of blockers. Electrickery, again. And Dynacharge. You can give it again +2/+0 and go from there. And also, the card that I really like to talk about, which I really think is going to be used in aggressive strategy. Ooh, cool. I got my 6 for winning that tournament. Is Silence. You can actually silence your opponent on their 4th turn, say, and it could actually make it so you can't cast any spells in response to. You can trigger off a Young Pyromancer, you can trigger off a Gutter Snipe. I think a Young Pyromancer or Gutter Snipe silence deck would be really, really cool, so I'm looking into that. I already talked about Boros Charm as well as the enchantments. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I think that the spoiled card, we'll take another look at it. Anax and Cymede is definitely worth musing, definitely worth brewing around. And here, you saw it first here, some of the, and we don't have Theros again. Theros should be a big enchantment-based deck. There definitely should be some pump spells that I think will go great with this card. This is Kevin from Roguedeckbuilder.com. Thanks for watching.